Hey, I'm Carl with Apt, and this is the Samsung QN65Q8C. It's brand new for 2017 and features Samsung's QLED technology. We saw this one at CES this year along with a lot of other really cool stuff that Samsung's getting ready to release, and we were really excited to see this finally arrive here at the store. So you're going to see the QLED abbreviation in Samsung's higher-end TVs this year as they utilize quantum dot technology. They didn't get into OLED this year, and this technology is kind of their answer to it. And in my opinion, it does a really decent job. I wouldn't call it a replacement for OLED, but the contrast was really good and gave nice depth to dark scenes, and the whites were really bright as well. I'll get into the picture a little more in a bit here. First, I want to talk about the design. So this is a curved TV, which I've not really been a huge fan of in the past, but it seems like they've almost increased the curve on this one, and I'm not sure if it's just in my head, but it feels like it gives the picture that you're watching an extra element of depth. The bezel's almost non-existent too, like a lot of the higher end TVs being released now, and all the connections can be found on the One Connect box this year. There's no USB on the set itself like in previous models, which I don't think is a big deal, but it's a little different. The pedestal on this one is better than previous models too, as it's center mounted here instead of having feet that get attached to each end of the set, but it's still really wide and it feels a little flimsy. Don't get me wrong, it's still gonna hold the TV in place just fine. It's just not quite as sturdy feeling as some of the other pedestals, and honestly, you're going to want to mount this thing on the wall anyways. Not only does Samsung have a no-gap wall mount, which is really cool, that's an available option for this one, the new One Connect box comes with an almost invisible cable. It's super thin too, so it's easy to conceal if you run it on the outside of your wall. And it's about 15 feet long, so the box can be hidden away pretty easily. On that one, you get 4 HDMI inputs, 3 USB inputs. There's no analog connections, which I guess is okay. This TV isn't really meant to watch VHS tapes on, right? It also comes with a new universal remote. It's designed to work with the products that are plugged into the One Connect box, but they do have to be compatible products. Now, I'm not totally certain what all the limitations are yet, but the remote worked well to move through the smart menus. If there's any knock on it, I almost felt like it might be a little too small. I've got kids at home, and they like to leave the remote on the couch, and I feel like this one could fall in between the cushions pretty easily, but it still looks really good, so I can get past it. Moving on, let's talk about what makes this TV so exciting, the picture. Right out of the box, it looks good, but I was finding the reds to be really saturated, so those needed to be tweaked a little bit. But once I got the picture dialed in for my tastes, it looked incredible. And picture is really subjective, so not everyone's gonna agree with me on what looks good. Contrast was really good too. I was able to make out really good details in the really dark and really bright scenes, and motion flowed really naturally too. I did notice a little banding during some of the shots of a bright sky, which I've found to be fairly common for most TVs, even the really good ones. But I'm not sure if it was just the way things were shot that I was watching, or if it was the TV itself. I didn't see it every time, just sometimes. I also wasn't noticing much, if any, light bleed. I watched this set with the lights all turned on in the room, all turned off in the room, and it looked really good both ways. And even though it's edge lit, the lighting was pretty evenly distributed all the way across the screen. I didn't notice any drop off in brightness anywhere across the picture. I actually started to really like this TV more and more as I watched different videos. Again, I wasn't a big fan of curved sets before, but this one's really changing my mind. Samsung also bumped up the sound quality on this set from last year too, but it still wasn't very impressive. Much like any of the other new TVs, they're just not great. So you'll probably want to have some kind of a solution available for that, either a sound bar or a surround sound setup. It's not really fair to watch this great picture with the speakers built in. They just don't offer the same experience. The other thing to mention on this set is the Smart Hub. It's really similar to last year's set, so you shouldn't notice much of a difference there. It gives you easy access to all your apps, and it shows what's currently on and available to watch. It's nothing complicated, which I really like. If you've never used their Smart Hub before, it's easy to learn. When we saw this TV at CES this year, I didn't have a ton of time to really explore the quality, and now that I've gotten a chance to, I was really happy with the outcome. I still think Samsung should consider getting back into OLED again, but I also think that these newer QLED TVs will keep people excited and impressed. So it's got a great picture once you have your colors adjusted, a nice way to consolidate all your inputs with the One Connect box, and the new cable is super thin, which I really liked. Overall, I would definitely say if you're focused on getting an OLED, you should consider giving these a chance as well. I think you'll be impressed. So have you guys had a chance to look at any of Samsung's QLED TVs in person yet? What'd you think? Is it a worthy competitor to OLED? Make sure to let us know in the comments section below, and subscribe and stay tuned, because we're also going to have some side-by-side videos between this TV and some of the other new sets coming out for 2017. As always, thanks for watching, and make sure you hit that thumbs up if you like this video.